had 8,000 to the bottom of the line to sell me a car. Thought I was rich. Now, Leo was the best. We used to go up in Oxnard on Rose Street. So he liked me so much, he got a dealership on Rose Street. That's a dedicated dealer right there. I'm about ready to change my name to Santa Monica. But of all the records I got pretty many. I think 20 Major League records, something like that. But the best record I got is, I was lucky enough to play in 1,972 winning games. That's why you play. That's why you play. That's why you get customers to do business. What else is there? And we just had a bunch of guys that felt the same way. That's really a credit to the teams I played for and the players I played with. You know, how lucky was I? I'm a leadoff hitter for the Big Red Machine. I got Morgan, Bench, and Perez coming up after me. They're all three in Cooperstown. Then I went to Philadelphia, and then Schmidt coming up after me. That's third baseman in the history of baseball. Then I went to Montreal, and had Andre Dawson coming up after me, Hall of Fame outfielder. You had Gary Carter in that team, and Steve Carlton. You had Tom Seaver as a teammate, Barry Larkin as a teammate. All Hall of Famers. And you're around people like that, it's contagious. If you're around good salespeople, it's contagious. If you're around bad salespeople, that's contagious. So you guys run the dealerships. If the guy don't sell, get rid of his ass. Pretty simple. Someone else will take over and do a good job. Because there's probably a lot of you guys play baseball when you're in high school or Little League. I'll be honest with you. And you probably have more talent than I did. I tell this when I go to minor league ballparks all the time. Everybody in this clubhouse probably has more talent than I had when I was 19. But you're not going to get 4,000 hits. You're not going to score 2,000 runs. You know, you're not going to win 1,900 games because I was going to outwork you. I had more enthusiasm. I had more desire. I was the first one in the ballpark, the last one to leave, because it was fun. It was fun. Imagine playing baseball for 24 years for a living. I mean, how much fun would that be? I mean, playing baseball for 24 days would be good. And we didn't play for the money. We made good money. We didn't make money like they do today. Hell, if I was playing today, I'd play 1 year and retire. Be making $25 million. I'd buy me a damn Chevrolet dealership. Call up Leo, say, you want to be my general manager, Leo? He'd probably take the job. He'd probably take the job. But when you're around players that have so much fun, and you know, you guys got to understand, I played against Stan Musial. I played against Willie Mays. I played against Hank Aaron. I played against Roberto Clemente. And for you smartasses, I didn't play against Babe Ruth. However, I wish I had. Because in my eyes, Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player ever played the game of baseball. Babe Ruth is something I can't think of any other player of any other sport could do. He saved the game by his presence. Just going into this town or that town for 3 days and sell out, enable those franchises to grow and grow and grow. And I know a lot about Babe Ruth. I know a lot about Ty Cobb. Because when I made the big leagues, we had an announcer named Wade Hoyt, who was a Hall of Famer, played for the Yankees. And he was our announcer. And I sit on the airplane, you know, Cincinnati, LA, Cincinnati, San Francisco, and just asking questions about the old-time ball players. And I remember about 6 years ago, I was up in Cooperstown. Don't get alarmed. I'm allowed in New York. And Babe Ruth's daughter, who was 77 at the time, walked 4 blocks down to say hi to me. And I was nervous talking to Babe Ruth's daughter, okay? And guys, I've been in front of federal judges before, okay? But I wasn't as nervous as that as I was talking to Babe Ruth's daughter. And then 2 days later, I'm down in Tampa, going back, I lived in Sherman Oaks, and Priscilla Presley was sitting in front of me. So in 2 days' time, I met Babe Ruth's daughter and Priscilla Presley. I was having a hell of a month. I almost started gambling again right now. I'm sitting behind her and she slept with the king. She slept with Elvis, guys. She not sleep with Elvis for Christ's sake. She was as nice as she could be. She was about this big. She drank a bottle and a half of wine from Tampa to LA. And I never seen anything like it. In those days, you were allowed to come to the gate. And when we got off the plane, there was 3 bodyguards waiting for Priscilla and took her right to her limousine. And I remember I was playing in Houston one night, and I'm flying this girl in from San Diego. I'm single, I'm allowed, okay? And we got a game on Friday night. She's getting in like 6:30, so I'm at the ballpark. And I tell my buddy, I says, there's a girl coming in on American Airlines. Go out and pick her up, bring her to the ballpark. He says, well, what does she look like? I said, man, she'll be the best looking chick on the plane. What's wrong with you? Okay. The 5th person off the damn plane is Farrah Fawcett. And that dumbass goes up to her. I said, man, I'm making $12,000 a year, man. The girl's in 2nd class, for Christ's sake. She's not in 1st class. And I remember later on in life, I did a thing with Ryan O'Neal in Cincinnati, and he was married to Farrah at the time. You know, she's from Houston. And he called her up, and she said, you tried to pick me up one night in Houston, didn't you? I said, no, that was a mistake. That dumbass Fitzgerald tried to pick you up. But does anybody have any questions at this time? We'll have some fun. If you're quiet, I wanted to repeat the question. We'll get more questions. Go ahead. If you say no, my ass is out of here. So who's got a question? Yes, sir.
I really appreciate you coming out. I think you're the greatest. Just want to see today's day and age of baseball. Is there any player that you identify with that you think is a good player?
Oh, there's a lot of good players out there today. I think you guys probably get to see the best player in America, Mike Trout. I think the best player in the National League is probably Andrew McCutchen. Trout's got to cut down the strikeouts, so he struck out 184 times last year. Hit 36 home runs, hit 288, led the league in extra base hits, and knocked in 112 runs. But I don't follow it much. You just got to cut down the strikeouts. And it's hard to do, because you either have a swing, that kind of swing, or you don't. You either put the ball in play or you don't. That'd be like me saying, well, I'm gonna hit more home runs. I'm big enough to hit home runs, not as big as Hank Aaron was. I just didn't have that kind of swing. Some guys have it, some guys don't. I remember my son was playing 6, 7 years ago. And first of all, I never met a live in a slump. You're in a lull when you're not getting hits. Never let a pitcher think you're in a slump, okay? And my son called me up and said, Dad, he said, can you help me? I said, well, what's up? He said, I'm 0 for 21. I said, 0 for 21? I said, call Concepcion. What the hell are you calling me for? I went 0 for 8 one time. What do I know about going 0 for 21? I'd be going up to Tallahatchie Bridge if I went 0 for 21. Jeez. Next question. Yes, sir.
What's your position on performance enhancing drugs, and maybe more importantly, what's your thoughts on Barry Bonds?
Well, Barry Bonds is a friend of mine, and I know I get in trouble when I say this, but if I was voting for Barry Bonds, I would vote for him. If I was voting for Roger Clemens, I would vote for him. I guess what I'm saying is I don't really pat them on the back for what they did. I don't know what they did. All I know is what the press says. And I learned a long time ago not to believe the press, okay? But I'm willing to give him a second chance. And Barry Bonds, if he did anything wrong, I think he started doing it after the Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire home run derby in '97. Because they took away his thunder. He said, I'll show you guys. So Barry probably hit 4 or 5 of those MVPs where he was clean. Roger had 7 Cy Youngs. That's a lot of Cy Youngs. The hardest pitcher I ever had to face was Sandy Koufax. That's something that could go through a car wash and not get it wet. and he had a curveball broke like that. Now, how you gonna hit that somebody? And he was Jewish, so he was smart. I don't know if they're ever going to, you know, those guys who do drugs are always going to find a way to stay away, stay ahead of the society. We know that. I don't know if they're ever going to eliminate it. I really don't know. Nobody on my team took steroids, although I look like I did. It's not that funny. And I don't know if someone would come to me in the 80s and said, you take steroids, you're 30 points higher. I don't know if I said, well, how's my liver going to be when I'm 50? You know, or how's my insides going to be? I don't know. But it's certainly a situation where if you make a mistake, you make money. Even guys who got caught, they all make more money. They sit out 50 games and make more money. You can name 4 or 5 of them in the last 2 or 3 years. You take the 56-day suspension, go sign $10 million a year, go about their business. And then people forget about it. They don't forget about gambling. I got a daughter, 25 years old. She was 2 days old when I got suspended. That's a long ass time. I could have killed somebody out of that back. No, the guy who shot the Pope got a second chance. Didn't he? What are you gonna do? Yes, sir.
Pete, aside from you, who's the best player you ever played with?
Oh, Mike Schmidt's the best player I ever played with.
Pardon?
Mike Schmidt is the best player I ever played with.
Mike Schmidt.
And I played with 11 Hall of Famers. Mike Schmidt's the greatest third baseman in the history of baseball. Johnny Bench's the greatest catcher in the history of baseball. Joe Morgan's the greatest second baseman in the history of baseball. Those are my teammates. There's only 8 positions on the field. And I played with 3 of the best. I don't know who the best player I ever played against. Like I said, I give you Musial, I give you Mays, I give you Aaron, I give you Clemente, Yastrzemski, K-Line. You know, I faced 19 Hall of Fame pitchers. I couldn't hit Sandy Koufax. I had 175 off Koufax. I got 64 hits off of Phil Niekro, knuckleballer. I got 36 hits off his brother Joe, knuckleballer. I got a 40th of all my hits off the Niekro family. If she'd have had 5 boys, I'd have got 5,000. I'm just telling you old timers about, I've been watching this, but one time Bob Uecker, who caught Niekro, was on Johnny Carson's show. And Johnny asked me, he said, Knox, that's what they call him. Uecker was on there. He caught Niekro. And he said, how did you catch a knuckleball? You said, well, Johnny, he said, the way I used to catch the knuckleball is I wait for that son of a bitch to stop rolling and pick it up. Ain't no way to catch a knuckleball. Ain't no way to hit a knuckleball. You gotta swing at it. You gotta swing at it. Yes.
As many of us in this room are fathers of young baseball players and athletes coming up, what is the single most important advice we can give our sons and daughters coming up through?
Well, I'll give you a couple bits, okay? And I get in trouble when I talk about this, but I really believe in it. Teach your kids to win. Because everybody's in a better mood than what happens to win. Not to the standpoint that you're a sore loser. But kids come through the line all the time. I'm in Vegas 20 days a month, sign autographs 4.5 hours a day. And I can't critique kids, I've never seen them hit. But I give them 3 bits of advice. First bit, be aggressive. Second, be more aggressive. And the third, never be satisfied.